What's up, dudes and dudettes in the internet? My name's Scythe and we are back again for another Trove. This is gonna be a very special video, everybody. We're not gonna be doing any giveaways or anything like that because I'm actually in the middle of building a new PvP map. And by the time this video comes out, that PvP map is going to be complete because I'm gonna be gathering footage throughout the days as I end up finishing the map more and more. So this one video that you're watching right now may be a concise, like just small little condensed video, but it's actually taken me a couple days, if not like a week or two, to actually complete this map. So I mean, I don't know, because this is Scythe from the past right now. So I would very much appreciate, because of all the hard work I'm putting into it, for you to duke in the like button for me. It very much helps me out, and I appreciate it very, very much. So I've been working on a PvP map. I do have a video. You can check the links in the description. I have a video that shows you how to start a PvP map, how to create a PvP biome, how the mechanics work, etc. And I wanted to make this as kind of a video to show you. It looks like a bunch of milk cartons. I wanted to show you my process for how I end up creating a PvP map. Now, that doesn't mean that it is the only way to create a PvP map. It's just the way that I do it. And in general, it just works for me. So over here, you can kind of see I've got a bit more of a complete section, and I'll kind of walk you through a little bit of the details. This first part of the video is probably going to be the longest, and then the rest is just going to be me kind of cluing you all in and coming back to show you, hey, I did this with this part, hey, I did this with this part, and just various building locations and stuff like that. So what I usually do is, this is actually going to be the HANAMURA map from Overwatch. You can tell how stoked I am about that game, seriously. And generally speaking, I ended up looking up a couple pictures online, trying to find out the skeleton of the map, and for the most part, I do it by eye. I'm not one of those types that likes to do it like block by block, especially because this game and Overwatch are two completely different types of games. You know, Trove isn't necessarily as 3D, like you can't really do angles and stuff like that. So there's going to be some areas and some choke points that are going to be really, really tight and really, really awkward. But, well, I won't say awkward, more so that it's going to be different than the other game. Like, it's just kind of a fan-made, unofficial version. Kind of like what I did with my CSGO office map, or not CSGO, but, well, I guess it was kind of CSGO. But yeah, so anyway, I'll walk you from over here, and as you can kind of see, like all of this stuff, this is all temporary. So I've made quite a few PvP maps, and I think that this process is actually going to work for me very well. I have the purple blocks that you're going to see around the map. Those are power-ups. Then all of the red spots on the map, you can see that is different doorways. And then the gray blocks serve as barriers. So you can see right here that this whole section is barriered in, meaning that this is just walled off and there's no way for the player to actually get in there. And then there's other spots like this one where I have marked with a sign and a little bit of a divot here to know that this is the pit from Capture Point 2. Because, I mean, if you don't know the Overwatch map, it might be a little bit confusing to you, but hopefully I can do a little bit of justice for that. So over here, of course, this is where, you know, Genji and Hanzo and stuff, and Pharah will usually jump over here. You can also do it with Reaper, etc. And then over here is going to be the blue capture point, which you can see that we don't really have enough space because normally blue spawn is actually over in this direction, but instead I'm squeezing it into this room right here. And this levitating power-up actually signifies that it's on the higher level, because there's actually a balcony that's gonna be about this height, actually. Maybe looking over this room, and it kind of goes around the room in general, so you kind of got to picture it a lot with your heads, right? And then over here, this is going to be one of the most complex spots, because this is actually a pit right here with a little staircase up to here, and this center spot is actually a bridge which you can travel under, and then there is also going to be a balcony about at this level that's just overlooking the entire room. So overall, it's going to be very, very, very long process for me to actually make this map. And yeah, it's gonna be pretty crazy. So of course, using more signs, center hut for Capture Base 2. Some of this stuff, of course, too, like I kind of have like, I ended up finding, I guess, like the original blueprint of the map. So it had some things that weren't actually in the final product of the map, but I still based it off of that, and then I'll just adjust it accordingly. So the whole process towards making a PvP map that I would recommend is first you end up giving it bones. You make it a skeletal structure, you kind of get all the layout and everything like that. I just worked on making the bottom level first and just kind of having a rough outline of where the doors were gonna be, just with like a red block on the tops of some of the gray blocks and stuff like that. And then you end up going through the entire map, kind of refining that a little bit, adding the doorways themselves, adding different leveled structures and stuff like that. This is just kind of like a basic outline to show that this is going to end up being a bit of a balcony, right? And then of course, you start adding the signs and the little details and the interior sections and stuff like that. And in general, you're going to be working on that for quite some time. And then you start adding a little bit of detail, a little bit of life to the map to just kind of give it an idea. You can see right here, this is kind of what I mean, where it's very plain, but it gets the idea across. Okay, this is supposed to be the road. The next section that I'm gonna do is over here. I'm gonna add the sand on the bottom for the garden and maybe add a couple of the rocks and stuff like that. Also to try and get the different levels of the map, because this map is, like all the maps in Overwatch, have a lot of verticality to them. Then of course the yellow that I have right here, I don't have it for many sections because over there is where most of the windows were, but this is actually a window section. And then as we come over here, I've got most of the detail worked out. By the way, this I know needs to be raised a couple levels. But over here, this is where it starts getting into kind of like the second last act of the project. The second last part of the project, like the third step that I usually do, is then you start detailing the map. You start adding in the structures and stuff like that, giving a rough outline of stuff, like kind of like this one you can see right here. Like this is just very basic, very rough outline. And then the fourth step that I do, hopefully I'm counting properly, is you end up setting up the finer details. So you can see like we've got some windows laid out and the buildings themselves are kind of like a bit more laid out and all proper and stuff like that. This is kind of the best you can do for Trove for a little bit of a bust section right there. And in general, like this already alone took me like hours. Like seriously, it took me like such a long time. So then over here, this is gonna be red spawn, which I have like a basic outline of, like this is gonna be the ceiling height, this is gonna be the walls, this is what I'm going to use for the arcade machines, and this is what I'm going to use for the prize machines, etc. And then this is kind of the design I'm going to be using on the floor section, just based on what I've seen with screenshots and stuff, because as I'm recording this right now, Overwatch still isn't even out yet, even though by the time this video comes out, Overwatch most likely is already out. And yeah, I guess needless to say, this is going to probably be a particularly long video. So this right here, I call watermelon. It's actually just supposed to be like a dumpster. The game doesn't actually have it, but I kind of messed up a little bit on the dimensions of all of this stuff, so hey, whatever, who cares. Nice little traditional tree. And then one thing that I'm going to be working on, which is going to take a very, very long time for me, is the fact that because of the verticality of Overwatch and because of the verticality of Trove in general, especially with the Lunar Lancer and stuff, I'm making the map as detailed as possible, I guess I would say, where you kind of like, you can climb on all of these roofs and actually parkour your way around. Now, when I end up actually closing it off, like the outside of the map is probably just gonna look like this, and I'm just gonna kind of have these basic outlines. Maybe as I'm going further along in the map, I'm probably gonna actually just make it like a gray wall from here to here, because I don't expect most players to actually getting to that point, outside of if you get on top of the map and then you end up jumping out and looking and seeing all of the broken stuff behind the scenes. But I do want the ability to parkour around, so you can see you can double jump to most of these spots and stuff like that, and I'll kind of just refine that as it goes along. And then over here, you can kind of see like there's the UFO guy and stuff like that. This balcony in Overwatch, I don't think is actually this tall, like this high up there, but that's okay. This is actually going to be the height of the balcony that goes all the way through into this area way over there. It's going to actually be that height. So you can see that this map is going to be very, very vertical. And in general, I don't really have any of these sections laid out. And yeah, so it's going to take me a little while. As far as this recording session right now, I don't have the time to start building anymore on this because I already ended up spending hours of my time doing this whole section, which I kind of do what feels good to me, like out of all of the 4 stages of how I approach PvP. And of course, the 5th and final one is just adding like the prop items and the finer details, and then just kind of cleaning up the map and stuff like that, because Trove in general lags a lot more as you have more props. So I like to add very minimal props and just kind of clear up all of the extra stuff that doesn't really need to be around. So with all of those different different levels to creating a map, it gives you a lot of option to kind of have fun messing around on the map. So the next section that I want to do, like I was doing some of the intensive content over there, so the next part I'm probably going to do is just start laying out the basic floors of the rest of the map until I get bored of that, and then I can end up going back and forth just between all the different areas and kind of just work on the spots that I want to actually work on. And in general, it's a lot of fun for me, but very, very time consuming, and you gotta be very, very careful to pace yourself. That is one of the most important things, because otherwise you can easily get burnt out, like I did with my CSGO map. I ended up constructing it in pretty much one sitting and just kind of recorded like a couple videos on that session, and it's just, yeah, I stopped making a PvP map until now. But either way, I've rambled on long enough. The next parts of the video are probably going to be a little bit shorter, just kind of cluing you all in on the sections and stuff like that. But otherwise, I'll see you in a bit. All right, everybody, so this is a couple days later, of course. I've just been kind of building here and there, just kind of adding things, and I'm pretty happy with the fact that I'm pretty sure that this city area is done. Even though I ended up saying a couple days ago that I was gonna move into that section, I kind of went on a tangent and started working hardcore on the city section, and I think I'm gonna do this map in 3 parts. Granted, I can always change my mind anytime throughout the building process, but I think I'll work on the Bell area next, and then I'll work on that section right there, and then the final section is gonna be over by the blue spawn. Now, granted, these areas over here are not going to be nearly as vertical as the city section. This, I think anyways, it depends. I haven't really gotten to the other sections just yet anyway, but I'm pretty sure that this city section is actually one of the most vertical parts of the map, and because of that, the most time consuming. So let me walk you through it just as I kind of updated things. Changed a little bit to do with these roofs on this side, but honestly, there was not that much changed. Rage Kill, I want to give a shout out to him because he's been helping me out here and there with the arcade area. Granted, he hasn't had nearly as much time as I have to build stuff. You can see that this whole main section right here is still pretty much the same way that we left it. However, I ended up kind of fixing up the verticality of it a little bit, and also just kind of touching up the outer areas of the map. So like this roof, for example, you can actually get on, and this one's here now. And then you can kind of go, here's the noodle hut, and I ended up adding this wall section right here. And this wall over here, this spot normally is actually supposed to be a little bit longer and have kind of like underground shops. It's like a very dark area, but we're still playing in Trove. So of course, the biggest thing that I want to do is make it so that you're not playing like this with the camera stuck in your face, because that's one of the most annoying things for me. We'll go to the upper area in a minute, because otherwise I just wanted to show you that I laid down the power-ups as well. This is the main gate right here. This is normally the sniper point, which the tree does actually block this snipe path even in Overwatch, but I don't think it's going to be too big of a problem in Trove, because you can just snipe with the Shadow Hunter. Not to mention, I made it so that you can actually double jump onto the tree and up into there. I think you could just make this, yeah, you actually can just make it up to this section too. Hello, random person. And then over here, this is of course the main gate. Noticing on the screenshots, I noticed that there was actually 2 gates, one of them closed, one of them open, and I'm about to go into that next section right there and spend a little bit of time building. And here is the kitchen area, I guess. I don't exactly know how this building is supposed to look, because this is the best that I could see out of all the screenshots and everything like that that I could find online. Because even though Overwatch is most definitely out by the time this video comes out, I'm actually recording this the day of Overwatch release, so I don't have the time, well, no, it's impossible for me to actually go through the map in Overwatch in a custom game or something like that and get my own screenshots and stuff like that, but that's okay. You know, I kind of have been getting the hang of the map and been able to build a lot faster now, just because I kind of have an idea of how to actually finish it off and stuff like that. So of course, this is the alley area, and then this wall over here, which of course you're gonna be able to jump over it. By the way, I didn't mention, but what I'm gonna do for this whole section that you're not supposed to go is I can either do the lazy way and just throw a bunch of lava on the ground, or I can mine all the way down and make it a giant pit of death, which I don't really want to do that, so I probably will end up using the lava, but unfortunately that means that there's gonna be a lot of big orangeness outside the map, which is not very appealing, but hey, whatever. Either way, one thing I am noticing immediately is the details on this section are definitely a lot more than down the rest of the street and stuff like that, but that's okay too. Most likely we can end up using that. But anyway, as you climb up into this alley, this is the other way onto this balcony if you don't end up parkouring up onto this front section right here. And then you go in between the buildings right here. There's this one, which is, I guess, like on top of the kitchen area. And then, of course, just all these types of things. This is actually supposed to be a little bit of a grading system, which I didn't even think about. I should put metal bars there. There's a mosquito flying around. I'm scared where it actually is. I think there might actually be a power-up in this room. No, there isn't. That's right. Because this is just so you can jump down there and start causing some trouble. Of course, again, these heights are not exactly ideal. It's more of a fan edit. Now, this section gave me a lot of trouble because I didn't know that this building was actually here until I saw some other very specific screenshots. Because otherwise, it was just this building kind of came over here and it wasn't really blocking off the player from jumping around all over the place. Now, granted, you can get onto this part of the roofs like really, really easily, but that's okay. It doesn't really matter because you just come right back down here and bada beep bada boop, there you go, everybody. The other thing too was I added this satellite right here, which I was able to finally find a screenshot that showed the top of the map, so that was actually really, really helpful for me to figure out how all these roofs are designed. Now granted, in the actual HANAMURA map, there's no roofs like this. All of them are made of wood. They're either slanted or they are the more traditional oriental roof styles. So it's kind of like a blend between the two, but Trove only has certain, so many blocks and so many options. And I like this kind of as a little bit of a variance. It also gives it a little bit more of a city feel. So anyway, that's all that I got to do within quite a bit. Like, it took me a very, very long time to actually finish all of this stuff because I've been, you know, doing most of it just by myself, and not to mention like going back and forth between like pictures and stuff like that. And now I guess I'm gonna start working on this next section, and yeah, hopefully that's not gonna take me way too long. All right, everyone, it's been like 5 days, but Scythe has gone a little bit crazy and I finished the map. I'm very excited about that. You can see I'm all disheveled. Ooh, it kind of feels nice. I should grow a beard. JK, I don't like it. I'm very, very itchy right now. But anyway, yeah. So it has been a couple days right now. I kind of got in a very intensive buildy mood, and I ended up finishing the map. So I'm very, very happy about it. I do want to say too that very, very soon, if not tomorrow, maybe another day, I actually recorded a match or two with some of the dudes, and it was actually a lot of fun. Like, I've been having this map is definitely one of the funnest PvP maps that I've ever played. And I'm not just saying that because I ended up making it. I'm actually very happy with how it turned out. So let me just walk you through what I ended up actually adding to the map. And then I'll kind of show you, I guess, a little bit of the choke points and a little bit of the areas and the tricks so that you know how to actually navigate. But you can always come to this map anyways. And I guess I should show... Let me just respawn right here and show you real quick. So from the spawn, you jump up to the second level, go through this portal, and then you go through this portal right here. And now we're actually in the blue spawn of the HANAMURA map. So yeah, sorry everybody, I kind of dished everyone. I'm gonna kind of speed through it because you can always come to the map and check it out for yourself, but otherwise I set up all the spawn points right here. Here's the portals, that's Team Deathmatch and CTF. I actually have it set up for both of them. Blue team is always gonna spawn over here, while red team is gonna spawn in the red base. And anyway, this is the big house, the big blue house, so I've got it nice and easy where you can't actually in PvP jump up to this level. However, you can jump up to here, you can jump up to here, you can ninja dash across with Genji or the Neon Ninja all the way over. And in general, I'm very, very happy with how this map ended up turning out. The power-ups too, you're gonna want to learn yourself where all the power-ups are, because they can actually, like, I'm so surprised that things are so clutch with this map. And then in general, it's been such a long time since I ended up actually playing a map or a PvP in Trove. They actually, I'm a little embarrassed to admit, because I rip on PvP all the time, that they might have actually balanced it out. There's actually a bit of a rock, paper, scissors mentality towards all of the classes. Like the Knight beats the Candy Barb, Shadow Hunter gets wrecked by, I think it's, the Revenant is pretty good. The Candy Barb's also really, really good for the Shadow Hunter. Shadow Hunter wrecks like almost everybody, and Tomb Raider wrecks the Fae. They actually balanced it out very, very well. I'm very surprised about it. It's a lot of fun in PvP now. I mean, granted, especially with this map. So here's the main courtyard just outside of blue, another power up in there. This area up here, I don't see many people going up to, but it is here. I noticed Scythe was actually coming around here a lot and going through the different areas of the map. Now, this jump right here is... I'm so happy with how it turned out. It's so perfect because you can only really get across here with like teleporting characters and stuff like that, or you can get up here and usually double jump your way over here. You might have to do a roll, and you're gonna notice right here, this was very, very tedious. I will insert some footage of that, but I was grinding out, well, not just yet, but this right here, this whole pit sucked to make. You think this one was bad? Let me show you this over here, just on the other side of the courtyard. From the Sakura trees, beautifulness is right over here. This entire pit. So I was hashtag going to be lazy and just put a bunch of lava outside the map, but you can't just do it halfway. You gotta do it all the way, right? So pretty much took a couple hours. Shout out to Loop Ender Ego, or Loop to Loop Ender Ego. Also, Zacky Bongo helped out a little bit too, and then Bob the Builder, yeah, whatever. But either way, they helped me out a little bit down here. Of course, I was the only one that had the bulldozer. Zacky has it as well, and he helped me out a little bit. I just wanted to give a shout out to them because seriously, this took like, even with their help, it took a very long time to clear that out. But yeah, so anyway, I wanted to show you this from the blue area. You can actually jump up to here, then you could jump up onto this wall. Careful of the ledge, because that's just an instant death once you go into the abyss in PvP, or you can jump up to here and then up to here, and this is kind of the big shortcut area that I like to end up using to get over into the red spawn and stuff like that. And then you can jump onto these the balcony and everything just fine. As for over on the red side, you can actually jump onto what I'm calling watermelon, onto this tree, and then onto the balcony. So it's very, very like, that's one of the things that I love with Trove PvP maps, and I try to do that with all of my maps, is I always want it to be accessible. I always want you to have accessible ways of getting around the map and jumping around. So even if you're in this alleyway, you can jump up to here, then you can jump up to here, and you can chain through that, or you can actually jump back up here and then up to the top, and then you're back onto the roof area again. You can also, from down in here, you can just get up onto this level before you jump up to here, and then if you kind of clutch it out, you can jump up to here, jump up to here. I'm just saying that like 50 zillion times, but either way, like, I really like the way that the map works out. I was noticing just the way that we were playing the match too. Everyone actually was playing it very differently. You know, the ranged characters were actually playing up on the roofs while all the physical characters were kind of hanging out. Like this was a very big choke point right here in the streets. Then there was also the courtyard, saw a lot of battle. Joe actually he recorded some of the PvP matches too, so watch out for that video on his channel as well, Nintendo Gamer. And then this was another big choke point. Scythe, I noticed he was being sneaky, and he kept going for this neutral flag that's over here by the bell, and he kept just sneaking around the level, actually grabbing that one and stuff. And then this one's a little bit trickier, but from here you can actually jump up to this roof. I think that might actually be the only way you can get up to that roof legit, other than, well, I guess you could just do this and then roll and jump up there. Lunar Lancer is very easy to navigate the map as well, and I tried my best to do on purpose. I guess we're not really going to get to walk through the map as much as I wanted to, otherwise this video is going to be way too long. But I tried to, on purpose, make this area up here like really undesirable, so I never saw anybody fighting on this roof right here. Never, ever, ever, which I liked. I liked the fact that, I gotta get rid of those, I liked the fact that everybody was kind of fighting in all the choke point areas. This walkway right here, like this this door area was also another big choke point where lots of people were fighting, and in the main hallway right here. And then of course there's these windows too. I made it so you can jump up to this one, no problem. And then for this one on the left, you actually just jump onto the rock, to the stairs, and then you jump right in. And then there is also, not many people ended up coming down here. But that's okay, because it doesn't have to be a desirable spot. That said, over here, like that's the thing that I found so nice about is we were on a CTF map, or a CTF match, and I jumped over here with the Neon Ninja, and then you can just rush right on over here, go in there, grab the flag, and you can start running back to the spawn and stuff like that. So either way, I'm just very, very happy with how this map turned out. Although I do credit my building technique, yes, I do want to say, everybody, that this map is single-handedly the reason why it ended up turning out so well, because I know lots of people always compliment my building style and everything like that, and I want to say thanks to everybody that's thinking that right now. This is why building the skeleton of a map is important. That's why everything ended up kind of working out and flowing together, and it just all worked out perfectly, was because of the bones and all the structures and the way that I designed the map. That is why it ended up working out. And I'm not trying to say it worked out because of the way that I designed it. I'm just saying that I played to my strengths and it worked out. So you can all just do that yourselves. Very, very easy, I am sure. Now, this area right here, this is a very undesirable spot. I never saw anybody going into here, so maybe I'll add a power-up boost right there. Maybe that'll give people a little bit more incentive to go in. However, you're very, very slow in PvP, so this jump over here I think is almost impossible to make with most classes, unless you're from up here. Maybe you could roll into it or something. I don't know if you can get onto the roof from down here. I gotta fix those windows too. I'm noticing a couple flaws that ScythePlays gotta get. But either way, I want to make this spot a little bit more desirable. Maybe I'll put it down a level, but that wouldn't really make sense because this is actually supposed to go out into the balcony area. So I don't know, maybe I'll have to lower it by one level or something like that. I'm not sure, but either way, I'm just thinking to myself. And either way, I'm very, very happy with how this map turned out. You can always go check it out, everybody. Either way, that's gonna be it for today's episode. I know it was a little bit longer, but thank you so much for watching. Hope this gave you enough incentive, inspiration, and a little bit of knowledge to how you can design a really killer PvP map too. Thanks for watching, everybody. Don't forget to Hadouken the like button, share, favorite, and subscribe to join Team Pixel Side. Stay epic, everybody.